Hi guys, it's Carissa. I wanted to make a video on the things that were different for me this cycle and basically some of the things that I did or that were changed by my doctors. By no means am I saying that this is a recipe for a positive pregnancy test. I'm just saying that this is just what happened to occur for this cycle. Some of this stuff was intentional on my part, some of it was stuff that was changed, because we had a request for a different protocol. So it's just for your curiosity, for my records, this is just what happened. So please don't think that I'm trying to tell you that you should or need to do any of these things. And a couple of the choices that I made were just my opinion, so please just keep that in mind. So as far as everyday medications are concerned and so supplements and vitamins and things like that, I have already in previous cycles taken 400 milligrams of magnesium, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, a natural prenatal vitamin, and baby aspirin. The baby aspirin I normally don't start, at least for IVF, for the egg retrieval. They don't want me to take it until after the egg retrieval, just to prevent excess bleeding, and that's what I did this round as well. In addition to that, this round had my synthroid raised from 50 micrograms to 75 because even though it's still in the normal range, my thyroid numbers were high for pregnancy or for at least fertility treatments. So I went up to 75 micrograms from 50 on synthroid. My CoQ10 I raised from 200 milligrams to 400 milligrams. My vitamin D3 I raised from 1,000 milligrams to 5,000 or 1,000 IUs to 5,000 IUs. Fish oil, I was only taking a third of the dose. I told you guys at one point, I realized I was only taking 1 pill a day. You're supposed to take 3 pills a day. So my fish oil I increased from 1,200 milligrams to 3,600 milligrams. And I added vitamin B12, just 1,000 micrograms of that. Then as far as prescriptions are concerned, this cycle I took dexamethasone. I'm still on it. That's a steroid, which I had not previously taken before. I'm also taking Lovenox, which I could be wrong, but is usually given as part of treatment for THFR, which I was not tested for. I also was given intralipids, which is normally given for positive tests on natural killer cells. I also was not tested for that. I don't know if those are things that were given to me just as a precaution for those things without testing for them, or if there are completely separate reasons why they were chosen. This is information I do not have, but those were new to me this cycle. In addition to that, I did not meditate. I meditated a lot for my first egg retrieval, and I did it sometimes twice a day, every night before bed I did, and I found meditation to be stressful. Leave it to me. I have anxiety, and I can get anxious about just about anything if I really put my mind to it. And almost always during meditation, I would get frustrated and think that I wasn't trying hard enough or that I wasn't thinking, because it was a guided meditation through a program for fertility treatment specifically, and it is by Circle and Bloom. It's Circle + Bloom if you want to look it up online. And it's a wonderful program, but I didn't touch it this time. Instead, I watched videos on YouTube. If you're not familiar with ASMR, there is a specific science and description of what that is and the effect that people have from it, what the triggers are. It's different for everyone, but there is a channel where there's a girl named Violet, and she does a not fake, but a role play of a scalp massage and a haircut. And I played that video every single night before bed. There's another one where she is packaging up dominoes. I know this sounds really bizarre, but the ASMR triggers that were in those videos that work for me made me feel more calm and relaxed and completely wiped my mind of any stress or worry or questions that I would have been, running through my head. I just put my earphones in and watched the video, and the scalp massage video, for example, I think it's an hour long, and I never made it past the first 20 minutes. I would fall asleep every time. So I think that did a lot more for me than the meditation did. I also did not have any acupuncture. The first round of IVF that we did, I did participate in acupuncture, and I believe I did it for one of my IUIs. I did many IUIs, and I only did it once. And it was actually one treatment for that IUI. But for the IVF that I did, I had several treatments leading up to it in the course of the time and on the retrieval day or transfer day. So I chose not to do that this time. One of the reasons is the facility I go to does not accept my insurance, or I should say the other way around. My insurance doesn't, that place isn't in their network. So I would have had to research and find an acupuncturist that was in that network. The only one that I could find that I considered going to was in an area where traffic is just terrible almost all times of day. And I thought, I know just getting there is going to stress me out, and I don't want to do that. So I chose not to have acupuncture this cycle. I also did not have any special diet. Last time I lost 30 pounds. I tried to mostly avoid white refined carbs and gluten. And I was eating things that only had 6 grams of sugar or less per serving. And this time I didn't watch my diet at all. I should have. And there are certain guidelines that I live by on a daily basis, but I still don't even follow those as strictly as I should have. That one's a little bit embarrassing on my part, but I just thought, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna go with it. So, in addition to that, I also did not eat or drink any of the wives' tale foods for implantation. I did not have any pineapple core, pomegranate juice, grape juice, none of that stuff. I didn't buy any of it or ingest any of it. I also changed one thing this time, and I don't know, let me put it this way. It wasn't necessarily conscious on my part. I didn't decide not to take naps during the day, but during my my first and previous IVF, I took a nap every day. I slept anywhere from 20 minutes to 4 hours, just depending on what the day allowed for. And I would make sure to get at least a 20-minute nap in. I wanted to just kind of power down every day for a period of time. And that was very comforting to me then. This time, if I took any naps, they were not longer than 20 minutes that I can even think of. And I can only remember 1 or 2 times that I did take a nap during the entire process, start to finish with all the meds and everything. And the only other thing I wrote down here was one thing that I added to my diet, which I didn't have in it at all before. I am moderately lactose intolerant, or selectively lactose intolerant, I would like to say. I'm 25% Japanese, so I know that Asian people don't typically digest dairy properly. I don't know if it has anything to do with what kind of dairy it is. It seems completely at random that certain things will bother me, and if and when they do. And I also tend to get sinus infections really easily, so I typically stay far, far away from dairy as much as possible, with the exception of, like, if I eat pizza, I will have cheese on the pizza, or if I buy dairy to make things, I will buy real butter, things like that. But milk, specifically, you never would have seen me buy and drink milk. Like pour a glass of it and drink a glass of milk. That just was not something that happened in my life, probably since I was in high school. And I started buying whole milk, organic whole milk. It is $6 a gallon. It's very expensive. But it was wonderful to have because sometimes I wouldn't feel hungry, but I wanted to make sure I was eating something or had something in my system. And I'd have like a little 8-ounce glass of that. It tastes so good. Skim milk to me has like a fishy taste, but I was buying, if and when I ever had milk before, it was always skim milk. And then in more recent years, it would be almond milk. I like the almond and coconut milk blend that I think Blue Diamond or Almond Breeze, somebody does that. And that was like my standby, but I still only used it for like cereal or if I had like chia seeds or something, that's what I would use it for. But that's the only thing that changed this cycle specifically in my diet. And I didn't do it for any fertility reasons or any of that. It was just something I started doing was having this milk. I mean, I don't know how long I'll do that for or ingest it for because, like I said, I do occasionally have problems with lactose intolerance, and it's a very real thing. It does happen. So it's good to keep an eye on. And, I don't want to get sinus infections and things like that. But that's the only other thing I wrote down because it was something that was almost like completely new and introduced into my everyday diet. So that is everything, my weird little list. And like I said, some of these things were not, it's not like I said, I'm going to do this or not do this for my IVF cycle. Some of it I did, like the fish oil, because I realized I was not taking the right dose. And then obviously the things that my doctors prescribed, but just in case anyone was curious, those are some of the things that took place, and I have a positive result at the end. So I don't know. So I figured I'd share that with you. If there's anything that I said that was confusing, there's a lot of times when I think that I've explained something really well in my head, and then I know that later if I watch the video, I'm like, I really didn't even touch on that the way I was supposed to. So if I confused you in any way, or if you have questions about anything, please leave that below. There is probably stuff here that you don't agree with. I know some people swear by meditation, and there's people who swear by acupuncture. There are people who would be disgusted with me for having real milk. I understand all those things. This is just what happened in my life. These are things that I did. I'm not preaching it in any way, just sharing it with you guys. So thank you for that, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.